What's good everyone, it's your boy YaDig, 4 Eyes, 2Js here, and today we're here to talk about a few artists. Now, as we know throughout 2020, we've seen some artists such as Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby, DaBaby, etc. go on to have huge success, but unfortunately at the same time we've seen other artists not exactly have the same success and are quote unquote flopping. So in this video, I wanted to cover 3 artists kind of in depth, go through their numbers, go through their stats, etc, and kind of give you guys a rundown. This would be part 1, let me know in the comments if you guys want part 2, but let's get into it.
I know you gon' leave regardless, just don't take my heart. How you gon' leave me heartless? You did some damage, goddammit, and that shit hurt bad. I miss the fun, the memories, the times that we had. Shit, that shit is over with, baby, I know it's a wrap.
And first of all guys, if you guys don't follow your boy on IG, man, do not sleep. At YaDig, go support the new post. You guys know what to do, but let's get to it. Okay, so the first person we have to discuss is Rich the Kid. Damn, Rich the Kid has been flopping, so let's talk about it. So first of all, we get to his album sales. So we've got 3 albums so far from Rich. We have The World Is Yours 1, we have number 2, and then we have Boss Man. Just quietly, these 2 covers were really good. I think whoever did the creative direction on this needs to be rehired because this one was nowhere near as good, but I just wanted to say that point. Okay, let's get onto these sales. So as you can see right here, number 1 and number 2 performed pretty well first week, selling 59k and 42k respectively. Then with Boss Man, we saw a huge drop with him only selling 19k. Now this is mainly due to the commercial performance of the singles around these projects. So if we have a look with his breakout project, The World Is Yours 1, obviously as you guys know, this had 2 huge singles with No Freezer and Plug Walk, and these really opened the floodgates for Rich into the mainstream, if we're being honest. And then on his follow-up project, as you know, it wasn't as successful, but he was able to get a hit with Splashin', and crucially, it was a solo hit, which is pretty good for an artist like Rich, if I'm being honest. But then we get to Boss Man, which unfortunately, as you can see right here, didn't have a single chart-in song at all, nothing got plaqued, and on top of that, this project had huge features. You can see right here, Youngboy, Lil Baby, Future, that's on top of people like Nicki Minaj and Post Malone. That is ridiculous to have features like that on your project to not have hits and not even get on the Billboard Hot 100 in the first week. That just kind of shows how poorly this album did. Then we get to his Spotify numbers. As you guys can see on screen right here, we have them up. Now over here on the far left, you can see they were just above 11 million after the hype cycle for The World Is Yours 2. Then of course we saw a huge dip, and around this period is where we saw the rollout, we saw the NBA Youngboy single and all the rest of the singles drop, but as you can see, it's pretty much had a consistent nosedive since, and at the moment he sits just below 9 million. Now why this is so bad, as I always say, if a project drops and you see the numbers pretty much fall straight away on Spotify, that means the singles didn't connect on a mainstream level and the album didn't connect on a fan level, because if the singles connected and were popping off and were being playlisted, etc, that means his audience would grow and the Spotify numbers would go up. And same thing with the album, if the album connected, those fans would stay around for longer. So yeah, overall right now, not a good situation with Rich, and I already know on this video right now there are comments clowning Rich, and unfortunately Rich's public perception to us fans who are really into hip-hop, it's not really good right now. So yeah, Rich really needs to turn it around. Okay, so after Rich, we need to move on to Blueface. Now just quietly, this is some of the worst cover art I've ever seen, but anyway, worse than that, this completely flopped. If you guys didn't know, this sold less than 13k first week. Nothing else to really be said in regards to that. But crucially, in regards to Blueface, one thing I did find really interesting is the fact that he's really only ever had one proper hit. As you can see, none of his other songs have ever been certified or anything like that, and it's honestly pretty incredible for someone to get so much exposure and media attention like he did because of his memes and stuff like that, considering that he only has one hit. But that kind of speaks to how little his music connected and how much his celebrity and his stardom connected, because after this single, we really saw him kind of flop and not do anything. As you can see right here, no single certifications after, and on top of that, he hasn't had a song land on the Hot 100 on Billboard since about this time last year. Quite ironically, it was his collaboration with Rich the Kid, and that was only on there for 4 weeks. Plus, we get back to his Spotify numbers right here, which you can see right here, and it's pretty evident they've just been falling. A little bit of a raise since the album, but even so, this is super telling. You can see he probably only increased, what, 300,000? That is terrible numbers to increase for an album. When an album generally drops, you want to see such a big increase in the numbers like you see with Rich the Kid here. For someone of Rich's level, Blueface's level, you should be seeing rises of 1 million to 2 million at the very least. But as you can see, he only increased about 200 to 300,000 because the album didn't really get that much attention. He didn't really have any big singles going into to it, etc, etc. So yeah, I'm expecting these numbers to continue to decline because at the moment Blueface is cold as hell, and even though these numbers might be kind of big, 7 million listeners isn't too bad. They're probably streaming all of his old music because all of that old music still gets plays. But yeah, in terms of his current music, definitely not good. And before we move on to the last artist of this video, a shameless plug for my merch. If you guys haven't copped it and you want to, make sure to. I've restocked all of these. We've got the Cardi, the You Dig, we've got the other Cardis, and we also got the Rodeo and the Eternal Take merch. Make sure to cop it. Link in the description, youdig.bigcartel if you want to. I'm still shipping internationally right now. Check it out if you like. But let's get on to G-Eazy. Now G-Eazy with this album right here, Everything Strange here, has got to be the biggest flop of the year, undoubtedly, but probably the second biggest flop I've ever seen in my life. I covered this very heavily. I went in depth on my last video. I'm just going to reuse some of the statistics because it's honestly pretty incredible. So as you can see right here, this is what he charted on the Billboard Hot 100. As you can see with his 3 previous projects, he charted around 3, 4, and then 3 again. This one charted something like 143, 100 spots lower. And then on top of this, his sales per album decreased over 90% compared to his last one. As you can see, his first project sold just under 500k, and then his other 2 sold comfortably over 100,000, and then this one sold under 8,000 copies. That is Smoke Perp tier flop. And on top of that, we get to his singles performance, and this is actually ridiculous when you really break down the numbers. As you can see right here, with his previous albums, he had hit singles on hit singles. His first big breakout project, Gold and Platinum singles, then he followed it up with another huge run of singles, and then on top of that, The Beautiful and Damned, his last project, had No Limit, which was a huge hit in the hip-hop landscape. And then on top of that, he followed it up and hit him with the 1-2, Him and I with Halsey, which was a huge smash in the pop world. That, as an artist and as a manager and as a label, is literally like the perfect combination. If you can have a hit in the hip-hop world and in the pop world as a rapper, that is literally the perfect rollout going into an album. But then we get to his recent album, and sheesh, you can see right here, literally flop on flop on flop. And these might say non-album singles. What that basically translates to is they put it out, it completely flopped, so they scrapped it off the project. So as you can see, it's something like 20 plus singles, which all flopped. None of them made the Billboard Hot 100 at all, and it's probably the worst rollout I've ever seen for an album so far in terms of commercial performance strictly. And even since the album's been out, I haven't seen it getting any traction at all, and it doesn't look like it's gonna have a single hit. If I was on G-Eazy's team right now, I would be planning the next rollout ASAP and get some better singles going, because it's pretty evident what they tried on this album did not work. But yeah, that's all for me today, guys. I just wanted to cover some of the biggest flops we've seen this year so far. Let me know in the comments who you think had the biggest flop, and also let me know if you want a part 2. I can do that for sure. Also, before we finish this video, I want to give a couple quick shout outs from the Instagram. Big shout out to t.j3, and also shout out to Stefan_Darius20. Much appreciated, you two. If you guys don't follow your boy on Instagram, man, at your dig, as I said, make sure to go show your boy some love. And also, as I said, reminder about my merch, go cop it if you want, link in the description right now. But yeah, that's all from me. Like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notifications, all that good YouTube stuff, and there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.